Hello, everyone. I see everyone's logging in. If you're able to share your video, that would be helpful. If you don't know how, tell me in the chat and I can help you. Kim, can you, hi.
Hi, what are we sharing our videos for? I came in the half.
Oh, that's okay. Just so I can see your faces if you're able to. I was just telling people if they're able to share their video, I'd like them to. Did anybody try to get on before me and wasn't?
It didn't work.
It didn't work. Okay. Okay, good.
It said waiting for the host.
Okay, good to know. All right. So welcome to everybody who is here. Thank you for your patience while you waited for me. We are just about at 2 o'clock, so we will not have time for very much small talk today. I did just do my 1 o'clock show, I guess it was called.
It was good.
Thank you, Marie, and thank you for being there. I will share that at some point on my Facebook page. That's the good thing about recording this stuff. All right, so welcome. We have, let's see, Kim, John, Kyle, Dwight, Kathy, Rick, Marie, AJ, Dwight, and Debbie. Dwight, are you on twice?
It's amazing how it works when you have it turned on.
Right. Hi, Tim. Dwight, are you on twice? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry, I had my cell phone on in case my computer didn't work. I finally got my computer set up, and I was waiting on both of them to see if I was going to be able to use the computer. And then the echo reverb was just terrible over here, so I ran away from my computer to try to turn my other phone off, and so now I'm only on once.
Okay.
Oh, you're on twice.
Oh no, I do see you twice still.
Yeah, there too.
My other phone should not be connected.
All right, I'm gonna just take that other one out. All right, there you go. I booted your other phone.
I didn't know you could do that. How do you do that?
Look at that, you learn something each time, huh? So if you hover over the person square, the 3 dots in the top right corner.
Oh yeah.
Then you can choose remove.
Oh, cool. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, so. All right, let's go ahead and jump in and get started. We are talking today about Facebook groups. I'm going to ask everybody to mute themselves, please, because I could definitely hear background noise and I don't know who that is. So if you can make sure to mute yourself. All right, well, the sound went away, so whoever it was did good. Thank you. All right, and if you do have something to say, just like always, you can unmute yourself and say it, or you can put it in the chat box. All right, I feel like I'm starting to get a sore throat, so I may or may not be able to do too much fast talking today, so you guys might get a little break on my speed talking. I don't believe that it's coronavirus or anything like that, so don't be scared to be here with me in this room. I think I've just been overworking my voice this past couple weeks because I've been doing a lot of trainings, more than usual. All right, so, all right, well, let's start with the difference between the Facebook group, a Facebook group and a Facebook page. I know I touched on it a little bit yesterday, but just in case there are new people that weren't here yesterday and heard the difference, a Facebook page is your public page that you allow people to like. So when people can click a like button, that is your Facebook page. If you invite them to the group, or if they have to ask to join the group, that is a group, right? So if you invite, or well, you can invite people to your page too. So I don't want to confuse you on that. I'm sorry about that. But so typically for groups, a lot of times people create groups and make them private or secret, but there are lots of public groups out there too. So we will talk about the 3 different types of groups that you can have so that you can determine which of those groups would be the best option for you. And we're also going to talk about why I believe groups are better than pages, even though you should definitely have a Facebook page, but I'll share with you why Facebook groups are better. I'll teach you how to moderate your group. I'm just kind of giving you the outline right now. I'll give you some tips for groups, and then we will, at the end, after we do the main training, we'll do similar to what we did yesterday, where after everyone has asked all their questions, I'll screen share and show you how to set up a group for anybody who needs to know that. Okay, so I will save that part to the end because I know many of you already have groups and you may not need that part of the training, so I want to be mindful of your time. All right, so now that you know the differences between a page and a group, let's talk about the different types of groups that there are. A public group is just like it sounds. Anybody can find it, anybody can join it. Now you can still set up questions for people to join even as a public group. So you can still moderate and monitor your group even if it's public. All right, so public means anybody can find it. They can search for it. They can find it by, it might come up to them because they have friends that are in the group or because they are in similar groups. A private group means that people can see that it exists, but they can't see anything inside of the group unless they are part of the group. Okay, so public group, anybody can see it, anybody can join it. Private group, you can see that a group exists, you just can't see what's in it unless you're part of the group. Now, a secret group, which is the third type of group, means that you can't even see that this group exists if you are not a member. So you can't search for it. If one of your friends are in it, you'd never know because you can't know unless you're part of the group. So if you're, planning to create a secret society of, I didn't have a good joke there, that would have been great. See what happens when you get a little bit sick, your mind is a little sick too. I'm like, I can't think as fast as I normally do. So, yeah, so just knowing it, as we go through, I want you to be thinking of, should I have a group and what kind of group? And towards the end, we're going to talk about that more, and I can help you guys determine if the group you're thinking about would be a good group. But as we go through these things, kind of write down like, oh, my group should be a public group, or my group needs to be a private group, or, just think of these things as we go through, okay? The next thing is that the reason why groups get better results than pages is because the Facebook algorithm has it set. Facebook wants people to enjoy their experience and they want people to get value. So the algorithm is set up to where groups are favored over pages because people are more engaged in groups typically. And people give more value in groups typically, right? So there's no black and white here, but Facebook believes that people have a better user interaction when they're part of a community rather than being a follower of a page, if that makes sense. So groups are more like communities, and that's why they get better traction both with the algorithm and with the users. Okay, now I will tell you that your group will only be as strong as or engaged as you are as the leader. You guys have noticed in this group, this is a very engaging group. You guys are super, super duper awesome. Like it's one of those like bittersweet things when I'm like, man, I'm so excited that I have such an engaged group, but oh my goodness, I'm so tired to keep up with everything. And so, but the fact of the matter is if I just gave up and stopped responding to what you guys were doing, you guys would stop responding too. Right? So as the leader of the group, if you're going to start a group, you've got to know how much time commitment you'll need to put into it. And that's going to be different for every person and every group. This group is a daily group, right? So of course there's a lot of time commitment needed into it. I knew at a certain level how much time I'd need to put into it. I never expected to have almost 100 members in this group. Again, which is thank you, Jesus. Thank you to my members. This is fantastic. But you have to adjust as you go then, because you don't want to lose members. You don't want to lose engagement. So the next step in something like this, as your group grows, your next step is to say, can I keep doing this myself or do I need somebody to help me? And it's okay to ask for help. And that's called moderating a group. So you can be the admin of a group and assign other people to be moderators, which means that they can, let me give you an example in the group you're familiar with, the one we're talking in. As new people sign up, you guys notice I am very, very strategic about welcoming every single new person as they come in now. Now, when we first started, like everyone who jumped on through Eventbrite, I asked you guys to introduce yourself in the who are you. But now as new members keep coming in, I'm actually tagging them in the who are you post. And I'm responding to every comment, right? And so at some point, I need to say, all right, I need to bring someone else in here who could do the things that are like, hey, welcome the new members. Direct people to the announcements tab or the units tab, right? And so that's actually, I shared with you guys the other day that that's what I'm working on now. I am actually looking for 1 or 2 people who might want to be moderators. If you're on this call and you're like, hey, Barbara, I love this, I want to be a moderator, reach out and let me know. Don't feel pressured to do so, but having moderators is going to help your group be more successful. It also helps the people that are moderating for you become better leaders. Okay, so that's a part, like if you're like, well, why would I do that? I already have so much time that I'm committing everywhere else. Why would I moderate someone else's group? Because it could actually help you to become a better leader by helping somebody else in their leading. And then so as your group grows larger than what you can handle it, and that number could be different for everybody, right? For one person, it might be 20 people. For another person, it might be 1,000 people. It's going to be different for everybody. But when your group gets so big that you can't handle it, make sure you're being proactive in bringing someone on earlier than later so that your group doesn't fall apart because of it. Okay, and another way that you can moderate your group is by asking people. So you might say, well, I don't want to make a public group if everybody can join it. Well, here's the thing, even though public groups everyone can join, you can request questions. Like many of you may have had, actually, I think most of the people on this call did not have to answer the questions because I didn't have those in, I didn't implement those yet. But you could ask questions. And so the 2 questions to get into the group now are, who invited you and what's your email address? And I added the who invited you mostly for the contest, but it's still nice to see who's growing the group, so I will leave that question up. But the email address is for 2 reasons, you guys. It's collecting leads, because again, this particular group is directly related to my business. Your group on Facebook does not have to be directly related to your business. And we'll talk about different options and ideas of groups in a moment. But because mine is, it would be silly of me to not capture email addresses. Right? That would not be a smart business move. Of course, I'm not going to spam those email addresses, but if people are interested in 30 days of marketing ideas, they might like it if I send them more marketing tips after this is over. Would you agree? Yeah. So I'm not going to send them things that don't have to do with marketing, right? Because I don't know if they're interested in those things. I don't know if they're interested in book publishing, which is something we do, right? I'm not going to send them book publishing tips unless they sign up for my book publishing list. It's going to be marketing tips. And so keep that in mind, that if you ask people for their email address and you put them on your list with it, you're giving them what you know they're interested in, right? So if your group has to do with healthy eating and recipes and they join your list, they probably want healthy tips, right? They don't want, like, if you have a business that does like t-shirts, use Rick's. Rick, do you do recipes too? You were the first one I thought of. So like if you're offering recipes and stuff, you're not going to send them like like something else that doesn't have to do with healthy recipes. It might be healthy tips that can go in line, right? But it can't be completely off. Like you can't send them things about golf balls. I don't know who came to my mind for that one, but all right. I feel like that might have been Rick too. I feel like Rick might be a golfer. All right, so you can moderate your group by asking questions. The questions can be anything you want. You could ask questions like, what are your goals for this year? Or why did you join this group? Or what are you looking to get out of this group? Or like you can ask any questions you want, you guys. And what happens then is that when they request to join, they don't actually get added until you approve them. If you have questions, and you can actually, even if you don't have questions, you can set it up to where you have to approve people that request to get in. Mine is set up, hold on one moment, please. James, worst time for you to do dishes. Please wait like 30 minutes. Thank you. Sorry about that. It always seems like they want to do their chores when I'm on the phone, right? Dishes are the worst. They're like so loud. All right. So where was I? So asking your questions. And then, so mine is set up to where you have to answer 2 questions and then I have to approve you. That is double security, you guys, which means now, once I've approved them, I've captured them as a lead, and I've checked to make sure that they're a real person who isn't going to come in and spam my page. In fact, there have been a few people who I did not approve that I don't even know how they found the page because they weren't connected with any of you guys. Like they weren't invited by, because that's one of the great things too. You can see if they were invited by someone, you can see if they're connected with anyone in the group. But like there is one particular person from a whole different country who was in 168 groups. Okay, he's just joining groups to join groups and he's probably spamming those groups. I don't want someone like that in this group. So I told him no. And I felt empowered to do so because that's a hard thing for me to do. It sounded like someone was saying something. I don't know if I cut you off. I'm sorry if I did. But you guys get it. You've got to be able, you're in charge of your group. If somebody's not a good fit, you have to be the one to say, no, thank you. Or if they're already in the group and they're doing something they shouldn't, you have to be the one that confronts them. Right? Even if you have moderators, if somebody's doing something they shouldn't, you as the admin are the one who has to confront them. You shouldn't put that on your moderators. Your moderators should be doing the easy tasks for you. Okay? Let's see. How do you do that? Marie asked. Marie, I don't know where I was at when you asked that.
How do you ask the questions that you put on there for them so that, you know what I mean, to be able to invite them to the group?
So in just a moment, actually, let me share my screen real fast for you and I'll show you.
And let me ask you a question since you just talked about it. Now, what about somebody that you invited and then they really don't do any interaction and then all of a sudden they put a post their business where you really don't even communicate with them. They've never commented or ordered anything, you know, because I was doing my healthy eats and treats. And then all of a sudden I see her posting things for her business. I ended up taking it off. Now I haven't uninvited her, but I just deleted it because I thought, well, we've never interacted. She didn't, you know, it's not like she said, hey, do you mind if I, you know, put this on your group? She didn't.
Okay. So again, as leaders, you guys, this is kind of like being even a leader of your business, right? If you've got employees or even being parents, you've got children, you got to handle this kind of stuff. And so Marie, I think the best, so you started off where you deleted it, right? Which is a good first move. You guys have probably, actually, I'm trying to see, there's many of you guys that are in this group that are in my mastermind group too. There was somebody who posted something questionable in the group and I know you all saw it. And I had to be the one that deleted that and then called her and said, hey, you can't post that in the group, right? Like, and she was very well intentioned about it, but it was like, it really wasn't appropriate for what was happening. And so deleting it is the good first step. But she's going to keep doing it until you approach her. And obviously it should be privately. Reach out and say, hey, Joe,
Right.
I just want you to know that I did delete this post and here's why. Maybe we can talk more about this and see if there will be a way for you to be able to promote, right? And actually in a few moments, I've got a 10-step group engagement that you can actually share with this person if you want on how to actually promote properly in a group. Okay.
Another thing that I was going to mention, Barbara, because I had this happen, that someone kept posting a watch party, like a political watch party in my group, and it happened 3 times. And so I finally said that person can't post unless I approve it. There was a setting that you can set in your groups that you can do that. And she claimed she didn't know what she was doing. So I don't know, but I was like, but there was a way that everybody else can post in my group anything, but she can't unless I approve of it.
Thank you for sharing that, Tracy. So yeah, so all of these are going to be in your settings, and we'll go through the settings here after we go through the main meat of it. But that is a good question and a good response as well, Tracy. All right, I'm going to share my screen. I forgot I was doing that. Tell me when you guys can see my screen, please.
And Barbara, while you're in
Yep.
here, if you could show how to set up those questions and where to find them when someone does come in, because
Yep. So, here I'm going to use my group as an example. So if over here on the left side where the tabs are, if you choose moderate group, and it's going to bring you up a bunch of admin options that you can do. I'm going to let mine load real fast. So for the questions, you'll come down to right here where it says membership questions. And this is where you can add or edit the question. I don't know who that is. Okay. I think that they used to have a limit of 3 questions. I don't know if that's still the case. I have 2. Facebook changes so regularly that I don't know if it's still the case. I have 2, but you might only have a limit of 3.
it
Now,
actually only let me ask 1 when I set my group up yesterday. So I
it
wasn't
might
sure.
be because of the number of members you have. It might want you to have more members first. I honestly don't know, but sometimes they do things based on that. We may have to do some research to find that out.
Okay.
Is it a private group or a public group?
It's a public group.
Okay, all right. So then right here above that, there is member requests. And as you can see, I have 11 requests, and I'm going to share with you why I haven't accepted these people yet, because some of them are invited by you guys. See how right here, this says invited by Tammy Myers. So that means that Tammy just clicked the invite button. That was probably before she saw the post of how to invite. So these people may or may not be interested. And I know that because they haven't answered the questions yet. So they received her thing that says Tammy invited you, but they didn't click on that group, which means they may not be interested. So what I do is up here at the top where it says suggested and then questions, I click answered some of the questions to see if they've answered any. So I've got Trisha Scott here, invited by, and seeing this one was invited by Tammy the same way, but this woman, Trisha, clicked on it and accepted it. So down here are the answers to the questions. Now I'm going to tell you guys, if you just hit approve, you will not ever be able to get these answers again. So if you want to keep track of it, you have to do it while you're, let me see if I closed mine. Okay, so yeah, my computer was running super slow earlier today, so I closed down one of my whole tabs because I had like 12 or 13 things open, and so I figured it'd speed it up because I wasn't ready to restart the whole computer. But here I am in. I'm going to show you how I do it. So this is my super organized spreadsheet and all my cool stuff that I do. All right, let's see. I want to go to down here at the bottom, you can see I've got different tabs. The one that I've got all this in is the COVID-19 one. Now, after this COVID-19 training is over, I will export all this data so that I can delete that tab so that I don't have too many tabs. Okay, so here's my planning for this. And then if I come all the way down here, and I go right there. Okay, so I just put that at the top because I have email addresses above that and I want to protect people's privacy. But what I do is I put them in, oh, come on, Trisha Scott. So I see her name first, and I'm going to highlight her email address. I'll come into here and I'll say Trisha Scott, paste it. And then I'm going to say Tammy Simpson. Okay, so that's how I keep track of everything, and then I hit approve, because once I hit approve, I no longer can see her answers. So the other people who are still on here, they haven't answered any questions yet. So many of them, when they don't answer a question, so like this person, I've messaged her, and I've messaged a lot of these people, but this is an example of the message I've sent. Hi, Dawn. I'm glad to see you want to participate in my free marketing tips group. You just need to answer the 2 questions to get approved. Here's the link in case you need it again. right? Many people then click it and some people don't. Some people don't see this. They might not even be able to see it because they may not have Messenger, which is why it's important that if you're inviting people to groups, whether it's your group or someone else's group, that you're letting them know that you sent them an invite so they can look for it. It's also another reason why you should only invite people who you know would be interested. Okay, I think I had a question in the chat. Stop share for just a moment. I'll reshare again in a moment. I just want to make sure I answer. Ask questions to screen. What about ground rules? Yeah, so John, when I go into setting up how to set up a page at the end, I'll show you guys how to set up the ground rules, but that's in your settings, but you can also do that even after you've set up your page. And yes, you should definitely set up ground rules for any group that you have. Let's see.
I know recently I had in my group, someone added 160 of her friends. She did not ask them. So I was debating back and forth. Do I waste messages on 160 people? I waited for a few days. No one really responded or anything. And so I ended up having one person, I think, join, but I ended up deleting all of them. Just like I just didn't approve them.
Exactly.
Because it was like, and I talked to her and I'm like, did you ask all these people before you just put them in? And she was like, no, I don't have time for that. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't have time for this either.
Yeah.
So anytime you're asking people to add, make sure you say, just don't add everybody.
Yeah. Good call, Tracy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dwight, you have a question?
No, just a statement. When I did the initial invite, because I saw the value in this group, I went through the list and I picked out people that I know have their own business to promote or would find value in being able to make their presence known on Facebook mainly for financial gain. So I selected those people, but I didn't add a private message. So I'm noting now, to let people know, hey, I sent you this invite and those kind of things as a follow-up, because I didn't do that the first time around, which is probably why I only have 2 people that joined the group.
Good call. Yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing that as well. All right. So then the next thing is, let's see. Moderators. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And actually, while I share my screen, I'll show what John was asking about, and then I'll show you how to do moderators as well. So in your group settings, which is under more, and then edit group settings, there's a lot of stuff here. Your description, you definitely need to fill out. This is where you could tell people, like I tell people like how this program works. And then if you continue going down, you can link your business page or pages. If I have more than one, I didn't link all 7 of them, obviously, but the ones that made sense, I'm teaching you guys and I'm doing marketing. So those ones both made sense. You can link your pages here. I do recommend that. I've heard people say they don't recommend it, and I don't remember the reason why. I do recommend it because it gives you exposure for your business. You're offering something of value. People should know which business it's coming from. They're not being forced to go to the business. They just may want to know where it's coming from. Right here is where you could change the privacy of your group. So if you set the group up as public and you want to change it to private and vice versa, you can change it. This group started as a private group. I changed it to public once I realized how much everybody was inviting and enjoying everybody to be here. Badges are advanced. I'll talk to you about those another day probably, but I like badges. I've been earning a lot of badges through this group, which is my love language is words of affirmation. And so when I get a badge that says I'm a rising star because people are loving my posts, I'm like, oh, Facebook is telling me I'm awesome. Let's see. And then as you continue going down, you can choose if you want stuff out here like social learning units. That's where units, when you guys are doing the units, I added that. See, there's a remove button. I added it. That doesn't come by default. We'll talk about units in a moment. You can also add the watch parties, or I think the watch parties are by default. So if you don't want it, you can remove it. Tracy, I don't know if that was the only issue you had with watch parties, but you could also just hit remove watch parties if you don't want people doing that in there. You could do membership approval. So this is where you can make it to where anyone can enter the group, or you can, you have to accept them, right? So only admins and moderators can approve people. And then let's see, pre-approvals, requests. This is where you could ask questions as well. You could do it from both of those spots. And then let's see, I think I want to go to our about page. So on the about page, I copy and pasted this information pretty much everywhere in the units, in the about, and the description. And as you continue, oh, that's all it's going to show me there? Yeah, I guess that's all it's going to show me there. I thought I had more stuff than that, but all right. Okay, I'm not I don't know where, it's not where it used to be. It used to be here in the about page to be able to do the rules, the group rules, but they may have even taken out rules specifically. I don't know, but I usually put the rules in my description. So like, which was on my about page.
Barbara, I think it was under those questions. Questions you
Under the
set up.
questions?
Yes.
Okay. Let me look at that real fast because I'm like, why didn't I see that? Let's see. So membership questions. Oh, yep, right here. Thank you, Tracy. So yeah, if you want to create group rules, you can do that here. I recommend if you're going to have rules, you should put them in place before you even open the group, rather than having to wait until people do something you don't like to do the rules, right? I probably should make group rules. I'm one of those people who just sees the great in everybody, and I'm always like when my car got burglarized, I just couldn't believe they didn't steal my Bible that was right next to what they stole. Like, I wish they would have took that. Maybe Jesus could have helped them. But like, I was just like I couldn't believe it. But I'm just I always see the best in people. Maybe that's a curse. Maybe it's a blessing. I don't know. But okay, I have another question, I think, in the chat. I haven't figured out how to see the chat. Oh, here it is. While I'm on screen share, but I figured it out, I think. No, I didn't. It was just joking with me. Chat. I think it's telling me to hit Control H. Why would it be Control H? That seems like a weird, oh, Alt H. No, it's not going to let me see that. Okay, so what's the question in the chat? Is there a question?
No, I just said good call, Tracy.
Okay, thank you. All right, so then to have somebody be a moderator, you go here to the left to the members section. And then let's say if I chose somebody, see who's on this call, Marie's on this call. So let's say I wanted Marie to be a moderator. I would click on these three dots here and hit make moderator. Now, I don't recommend making anybody else an admin unless they also are an owner in whatever you're doing, because if relationships go bad, they could delete your whole thing. An admin can do the same thing you can do. Okay, and that goes with Facebook pages as well. If you add people, make sure that you trust them, or make sure you have a contract with them that they can't do something like that. Like if it's a marketer that you're working with, make sure that the contract specifically states that they cannot take your page hostage, right? But otherwise, you can make somebody a moderator. You can also remove people from group and stuff like that here. And Tracy, this is where you made your post approval for the woman that you talked about, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So if you have an issue like what Tracy had, you could turn on post approval, which means that that particular person would need to have approval every time she posted something, he or she. Okay.
And Barbara, don't you recommend having a moderator for every group, or like you had your different pages? Because I've always been told to make sure you have a couple people, like I have like my kids or my husband also as an admin on it. In case I got into Facebook jail, I could not post anything or do anything on that site. So I could at least go in off of their, like Facebook account and do things.
Exactly. And not only Facebook jail, but Facebook can actually delete your whole profile. And so you do want to have one or two other admins that you completely trust, whether that's a spouse or a child, or even if you just make up your own second profile that you have as a backup, right? So it is good for both pages and groups to have more than one person as admins. Okay. Good question there, Tracy. And then of course, as moderators, now as a moderator, that person wouldn't have the same opportunities as you, the same roles that they could do. So if you were to get locked out, they couldn't add you back as a moderator. Only admins can do that. So yeah, make sure your admins are people that you fully trust and that you don't believe is going to ever sabotage you. Moderators have limits to what they can and can't do. So that can be anybody who's willing to help you moderate. Well, you should have some level of trust for them still. Like, you shouldn't just let anybody do that, because they're also representing your group. All right.
Barbara, can you add an admin and then fire them in a couple of years? Can you remove them?
Yes, you sure can.
You
Yep.
can.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, there's times when I take over somebody's marketing and they've been working with someone else, and like the first thing they want me to do is remove that person from my page. So once they make me an admin, I could remove the old admin for them.
Okay.
Right. Dwight, I can't hear you. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with this whole thing yet, but I just realized I've got a record button down here at the bottom on my screen. Does that mean that I would be able to record what's going on here
Yes.
on my own computer?
Yes.
So then that's why you have to be very careful to blot out email addresses and things like that when so you're not sharing people's personal information in case somebody else is recording.
Right. Well, not only in case someone else is, but because I specifically record this and put it on YouTube and stuff. So
Right.
it's public. And so I really want to be as mindful as I can to protect people's privacy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, you can't record it without Barbara saying okay.
Yes, that is
Mhm.
correct too. So if you hit that button,
If you click on that, it'll say you gotta approve it.
right.
Oh,
Yep. So, and then that just lets your host know that you'd like to record it, and they can choose to let you or not. Now, right now, while everybody's doing virtual stuff, I don't see what the big issue is if somebody's like a speaker, letting them record their own session, right? Maybe not the whole thing, but their own session. I just had an issue recently with a group that, like, they wouldn't even let me record my session. And so then I was like, okay, well, this is good content that I want to put out to my people. Like, I will edit it to where nobody else's face will be in it. Right? It would just be my content. And they were like, no, we can't do that. And then I was like, well, and I don't remember why. I don't know if they didn't know how to use Zoom or whatever. And so I finally said, so then they posted the link to the video, the whole video, but made it private. And then I was like, so then I couldn't even download it to edit it myself, right? And so then I requested, hey, can you just send me the file itself then, since you put it out there? Can you send me the file and let me edit my own out? And it was a headache. And I was just like, why would somebody not let you do that? So if you are a host and somebody's a speaker on your show or going to give tips or something and they want to record, I don't see what the issue is with that. Like, you should probably let them. Maybe not, you don't have to let them record the whole thing, but if they're a speaker, I mean, speakers need to make a living still too, right? And that's how we do. We give content. But anyway, that was just my rant for the day. I do that very little, so thanks for hearing. All right, so the next thing is I want to show you guys how to do units. So once I showed you how to set up units in the settings, but once you have units, how do you add stuff to units? So as you guys can see, I have many units right here. And it goes, and so, oh, and I want to show you too. So the ones that I have not, the ones I haven't completed yet, like I haven't went in and pressed done, it will show me the sample of them right here. So ever since 7, which I think was the one on Sunday, I think. Yeah.
you sharing your screen?
What's that?
Are you sharing your screen with us?
Yeah. Can you guys not see it?
No, I see you.
Anyone else having the same issue?
I
Just
see your
look up in the
screen.
top corner.
Nope.
Rick, you don't see it?
I see it.
I
No, I
see
see
it.
it. I see
Oh,
it.
okay. So why, maybe you have it on speaker view to where whoever's speaking is going to be popped up. Maybe you can minimize our boxes. So like there's like 4 options at the top of the box. Choose one of the other options other than what you have. Did that help or no? Well, what are you looking, so you only see me, do you see me as a big person or as in the boxes? Just me? Okay, up in the top right, you see a gallery, do you see something that says gallery view? Click on that. And then there should be grids up at the very top. Thumbnails, grid. You got it?
Found it. Thank you.
Okay, yep, okay. So the things that I have completed, see like lessons unit 6, I've completed it, so it doesn't show anything here. I can click in it and I'll be able to see it, but lesson 7 I have not marked done on yet. So it's showing me what's in lesson 7, right? So here's all these different units. And then I even have some that I don't get too excited about the ones that are coming up because I actually just rearranged the orders today. I haven't changed them on here though. Not the orders. I've decided there's some more important things I want to show you than some of the stuff that I already have out there. Yeah. So, all right. And so how to add to a group, or to a unit. So once you're up here in the units tab, there is a create unit right here at the top. And then you give your unit a name and a description. I'm not going to do that right now because I have a bunch of them. So I'll click in one of the units so that you can see what it looks like once you've created it. So then once I've created the unit, here's my title that I made. Here's my description. Here it shows me how many I've completed, how many of the assignments in here I've completed. There's only 2 in here and I've completed 2. It also shows me who has viewed this unit. Doesn't show me who, not on this screen, it doesn't show me who's completed it, but I'll show you how to find that in a moment. But you can post a lot of different things in here. As you can see, files, posts, quizzes. To post the video, I just put the face or the YouTube link in here and then it posts the video. So I've got the video, the homework, and then after, as you guys know, as you've been going through it, the done button is right on the bottom here. Mine shows a check mark because I'm there, I did it, and then you go to next unit. But if you want to add something in here, it's just like doing a post. So this here, where it says, what would you like to say about this, is the title. So here where mine says video tip number 1, that's the title where it's bolded. What would you like to say about this? And then the write something is the paragraph that's underneath it here. And then the media, if I wanted to add a picture or a video or something like that. Okay, and if I wanted to now see, I want to go back to all my units. And if I would like to see how many people are doing the units, my computer is acting crazy. Okay, so I'm going to go to settings here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not where I wanted, but I want to show you in settings that you can actually, if things are in the wrong order, you could move things around by like grabbing it and pulling. Okay, where is my unit 1? I don't remember how I did that now. Okay, give me just a moment, you guys. This is my sick brain here. Oh, I'm sorry, it's in group insights, you guys. I remember now. Group insights on the left here. This is how you can see who's completed your units. But you have to download it. Like you can't just see it on here. You have to click this download details button. Now you can see that, okay, Barbara Carr's a top admin. Okay, I'm the only admin, so yay to me. But and then it shows like some of the top contributors right here. Way to go, those of you who are on the call. Debbie George, Angela Johnson. I see Kim Hall. I see Marie Perez. And is that Dwight? And I see there's 5 others, but those are the first ones I saw, so that's who I'm saying. And then look, it shows that there have been 96 posts completed in total between everybody. And so if I click the download details, and I could also see it this way too, but I keep track of everything, so I always download the details. And when I download the details, you guys, it will take just a moment, but then it pops up over here in the left corner. Do you see where it says your completion insights is ready? So if you click it, then it will open up it will open it up so that you can download it, and then it brings it in a Excel drive, or I think it's an Excel sheet. Yeah. I always copy mine into the Google sheet that I'm working in already. But it's really cool because it tells you each specific post as well as each unit. It also shows you if somebody has like started it but not finished it. I don't know where that went. It just, oh, here it goes. It's loading still. So while that's loading, let me look and see what the next thing is I want to show you. Does anyone have questions yet? Okay, so I want to show you also how to do a few other things. Okay, let's say that you're in a discussion, or like you're in the discussion tab, and then you realize that one of these things you want it to be part of the group, of the unit, right? So I've got to find a post that's not part of a unit already. Most of these are. Okay, this is not part of a unit. So if I want this to be part of a unit, I can click the top 3 dots, and I can choose which unit I want it to go into, and then it will go into that unit. All right. I can also mark it as an announcement, which will put it on the announcements page. Now, I recommend that you have no more than 3 to 5 announcements at a time, because otherwise, are they really announcements, right? Like if everything's important, then like nothing's important. So make sure that that's where you're putting the things that are the most important for people. In my case, the Zoom link, not only is it an announcement, but it is pinned to the top of the announcements. So it means even if I put other announcements in, that one's always going to stay at the top, right? And then I've got my poll there, because when I guide people to the announcements, I want them to see that, by the way, you guys, there's one slot available still to do a Zoom with me if somebody's interested in that on Friday. And then the invite contest, see how now this no longer needs to be in the announcements, because the contest is over. So I can click on the 3 dots here and just hit remove from announcement. That does not remove it from the page. It just removes it from the announcements, which means people can still see that. The virtual events, I'll probably leave up here for a while so people can post their events. If you have an event, post it here. This one is to invite people to the training. I'll probably leave that there. And then the who are you? This is where I always comment for the new people. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 now. And 5 is plenty. When I had 6, because the invite thing, that was probably too many, but it was working, it was working good enough. All right, so I want to now show you how to do a poll. Somebody had asked about how to do a poll. So you go just like you're going to make a post. Dwight, do you have a question, or you were just saying that was you that asked that?
No, I went to look for the Friday thing and I don't see one available.
It's in announcements. You got to click on the bottom.
I went to announcements. I went to see all votes, and every one of them has a vote for it, down to April 3rd, 10:30.
Yeah, so did somebody beat you? No, I see it still right here, 9:30.
Oh, 9:30 a.m.?
There's a 9:30 available right there.
Yeah, it doesn't show on my thing.
Huh. Oh,
I see Friday, April 3rd, 9:30. It says vote.
That's why, because Rick beat you to it, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
That's Rick, right? It's a tiny picture. I can't see. Yeah, it looks like Rick beat you to it. So it was like in transition. Good job, Rick. Super fingers. All right. So every week, though, I'll put a new poll in there every week for Zoom meetings. I do ask that if you've already had a Zoom meeting with me, that you let some of the new people have first dibs. But if it's Thursday and the meetings are Friday and there's still openings, then feel free to take it. But I ask that if you've already done a Zoom meeting, that you let people that haven't done one yet do it. Oh, look down here in the bottom left. Your scheduled post for the group just was published, right? So what that is, you guys, is a PDF of what I'm going to show you here in a moment. But before I do that, I want to show you how to do a poll. All right, so if you go to the discussion tab and you're going to make a post just like normal, like if you'll put a post out, click write something. Down here at the bottom, there's an option for a poll. You could click on poll, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody wants to try this right now, I believe that anybody can put a poll in the group. I don't think it is just the admins. I believe anybody can. But if someone tests it, if you could let me know, that'd be helpful. So here's where you would write whatever your question is, write option 1, 2, 3. You can add options, you could delete options, you could add images to options if they make sense. Sometimes adding the image is good, like if you're trying to ask someone to choose a logo for you, you got like 5 different samples and you want help, you could actually add the logo here and then they could choose the option that way. All right, did anybody test that?
Yeah.
What was the result?
Where do you want us to try and add a poll?
You can do it right in the group. So like if you're, as if you're going to type something, as if you're going to put a post. Look, somebody else just asked to join the group. I don't know who, but we'll deal with that at another time. While you try that, Dwight, I'm going to move on to the next thing, which is scheduling.
I don't think you can.
You don't think?
I've been in there. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
it just doesn't give me, wait. Yeah, it does.
okay, good.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I can do it.
perfect. So you could do polls as the admin or just as a user. So you guys could technically even put a poll out there for yourself for Zoom times that you are available, right? And the way that I do mine, if you noticed on the poll, it said that all of mine are back to back, just like when I used to do networking stacks, when I would meet people at Jellies in Maryville and I'd meet one after the other. That's how I'm doing my Zoom meetings. 1 day a week, I'm spending 3 hours for the day meeting with people 30 minutes at a time. And it's all in my Zoom room at that time because of the fact that I'm doing them back to back. It makes sense because when person B gets on, person A knows it's their time to leave, right? And so it helps you to stay good with time management as well, doing it that way. All right, so then the next thing is scheduling. Same thing, if you're on your discussion tab and you go to write a post and it's for later, you want to schedule it. See, I just put an example, I just typed crazy stuff. But then you come down here, not post, but right next to the post, there's a little clock. That is to schedule the post.
Okay.
So if you click schedule, then it will pop up and ask you, when would you like to schedule this? And you just choose the date and the time, and then you hit schedule. The time zone is going to be in whatever you have set up in your settings, which by default is usually your own time zone that you have set up for Facebook. Okay. And so that is how to schedule a post, which as you can see the post, because you can see, excuse me. You can see right now I have 1 scheduled post. Tomorrow it will probably be like 8 of them because today's my day to do more scheduling. So there'll be a lot more tomorrow. I think I need 1 more drink, guys. Hi, babe. Give me more tea. Stop it, please and thank you. Okay. What? Yeah. All right. The next thing is files. So you guys see there's a files tab on the left, which is where you can find files that your group has posted. And in fact, I want to I'm going to show you how to upload one by uploading one right now, because the presentation I did at 1 o'clock just now, thank you, babe, is I gave them a checklist that I use. Well, it's my to accomplish list instead of my to-do list, or my to accomplish list. I'm going to give that to you guys too, just for fun. It's not any part of our training, just in case you guys could use a list, a better to-do list. Let's see, I put that in, which one? Right here it should be in. Right here, blank accomplishments list. Nope, that's the JPEG. That's not what I want. I want to give you guys the PDF. Blank accomplishment list. There you go. One of those things that you saw in there too, the spectrum of solutions I created because people keep asking me, both inside this group and outside this group, of like what things I'm offering right now, like just in general. I thought I hit save. I should have typed what that was, but I can edit it as soon as it goes in there. Well, that'd be a good opportunity for me to show you guys how to edit as well. All All right, so it's refreshing now because it's putting that in the Files tab. Oh, it did add the name of it for you there. And so actually, just for fun, I'll just throw in the spectrum of solutions on this page too, because why not? Just in case anybody's interested in it. Spectrum of solutions, I'm going to do, oh, these are JPEGs, so you guys are gonna have to do just the JPEG on this one. All right. All right, so then the next thing, now that you know where to find the files, obviously to download a file, you just click on it, like, or over on the right, I think there's a download option. I usually just click on the name of it and it comes up. Okay, but to add a file for your own group, you'll go to discussions. You know, discussions is where anytime you're going to post something, it's just the easiest place to go to is to discussions, because that's where you're talking to people. So when you are in here where it says write something, if you click on more, the first option is add file. So that's how you, if you want to add a PDF, because obviously you can add an image by just clicking photo. But if you want to add a PDF for somebody or some other kind of file, like a publisher file or a PowerPoint or something like that, you would do that by hitting add file. Okay? And then, or you could do it the way that I just did by just uploading it on the files page. But, and then the next thing, oh, the last thing I want to show you before I take questions and then show you guys how to do the group is the engagement, which is one of it. This is in the files already, but I'm going to pull it up on my screen so you guys can. This is, and this see, this is how old this is, that it has my old name on it before I married my love. I was Barbara Kane. So Barbara Kane's best engagement tips for Facebook groups. Yes, I'm going to update this. I just haven't had time before I posted it in here for you guys today. But so basically how this works is on the left side here, you see group name, whether this is your group or someone else's group, because you may belong to multiple groups. I have a very extra special bonus tip for you guys here. Only join groups that you plan to be active in. Okay, you don't have to be active every single day, but don't join a bunch of groups and then not be active. That doesn't help you. It does not help the admin, and it does not help anybody else in the group. So if someone invites you to a group, check it out to see if you actually are interested. And if you are, then make sure you have some kind of time commitment, even if it's just once a month to pop in. But you need to have a time commitment of some sort. So this LCS stands for like, comment, share. And so this is my 10-step process. It's actually 9 steps, but I call it, I always say it's 10 steps. I forgot to count it as 9, but at least it doesn't say 10 up at the top. But anyway, so this is my process for what I do, not only in groups, but even like when I'm doing my kindness calls, you guys. Kindness calls count for these things. All kinds of things. This could be both online and offline. You can use it for LinkedIn groups, which we'll talk about another day too. You can use it for Facebook groups. You can use it everywhere. But let me just give you the basic concept. The very first 3 times that you're engaging in a group, you should be trying to give engagement to somebody else's post by liking, commenting, or sharing, right? So a like is lazy, right? So the L stands for lazy. Even if you make a heart instead of a thumbs up, it's still lazy, you guys. I'm not saying you can't do that or don't do it. If you're just getting started, you can count that for the very first one. But most of the time, you should strive to put comments on other people's posts, support them, encourage them, thank them, right? Add to the conversation. Or share their post. Now, if you're in a private group, you can't share a person's post. Well, technically, sometimes you can, but nobody else can see it, right? And so it just pops up and says like not available to be shown or whatever. So make sure that if you're sharing something out of a group, that the group is public so that other people can see it. Otherwise, it will say like attachment not available or other stuff. Now, after you've 3 times in a row, they don't have to be 3 days in a row. That's why these boxes are here so that you can put dates in them. And you also don't have to go in order. Group 1 doesn't have to be like, you don't have to do group 1 all the way through before going to group 2. You also don't have to do group 1 and then group 2 and then group 3. You could start at group 2 and go to group 7, right? Some groups you might visit more than others. This is also for live networking groups I use this on. And then after you've given 3 supporting and engaging things to someone else, then you can share something of value. Nothing of sales. You cannot put anything in sales yet, right? So you're giving value. You're giving them, something like this, a tips of some sort, or maybe a video that just teaches them something. Tracy does a really great thing where she goes into people's home and she teaches them how to use their current wardrobe and have many different outfits that they never thought of. She can give a video about that she can do in her own closet or in somebody else's closet even, and then share that video for free with people. Especially now, Tracy, you can't go to people's closets right now, can you? You might be able to do virtual closet consults though, but so giving value without asking for a sale. Now, of course, if it is somehow directly related to your business, somebody might ask you the way they've been asking me, right? Like, how can I get more of this? In fact, this morning, one person asked me, when are you going to give your offer for the end of the 30 days? Because like, I'm getting so much value already, and like, I'm ready to hear it. I want to know what it is. I don't know when I'm going to. I wasn't planning to until day 30, but maybe I'll share it a little bit sooner for those of you who are eager. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but it wouldn't be yet because I'm still working on giving you guys value. Now, granted, we're on day 9, and I guess I've made it all the way through here, but give value, and that could be by posting in the group. Value can also be like, it could technically be one of your blog posts as long as you're not being salesy. Okay, it could be somebody else's post. It could be an article that you found on the internet somewhere that could help everybody in the group, right? Like if it were, I just keep going back to like the healthy thing, the healthy recipes. There's so many groups out about that, about healthy stuff. You might find a recipe that you can add to the group, right? And so adding value of some sort, and then you go back to engaging. So commenting and sharing, because again, remember, owls are lazy. We still want to like people's stuff, but make a comment as well. You guys, there's somebody who I know that gets so irritated if somebody shares their post and doesn't like it. Why would you share it if you're not even gonna like it? Give me some engagement. But really, both of those are engagement. Both of those help the original post owner. The share helps it even more. And then you guys are going to give value again without trying to sales. And a review. So at this point, this could be a review of the group itself or a review of somebody in the group. And so, give me just one second, guys. I feel like there's somebody has noise. I'm gonna mute. Oh, there, I think I got who it was. Okay. So you're going to give a review. Either review the group or review somebody in the group. And this is very important, you guys, because you're basically saying, listen, I've gotten so much out of this group. It's great to tell the admin that you've gotten a lot out of the group, but how awesome is it if you post in the group and says, this has been such a great group. This is what I've got out of it. This is how it's changing, what I'm doing, and make that public, because then what will happen is it will create conversation, which will help you connect with people. It will show that you're giving to others, but it will also help whoever the admin of the group is if it's not you. And then here's the other thing, the other reason why a review is so important. Because when you go on to hit the promo button, the next time you go into that group, people are going to review you. Right? So after you say, hey, here's what I have to offer, there will be somebody in that group, or there probably will be someone in that group who has interacted with you by some means that they could post underneath your promo that says, oh, I just love when Tracy came and did this for me, and this is so life-changing. You guys got to let Tracy do this for you, right? And so after you've done all these things and then you put a promo out on the page, people don't feel like it's salesy. And in fact, other people will start promoting you for you, because they have gotten so much from you. Now, after you've made it to the promo stage, and this could take a whole year depending on how many times you visit this group. If it's a monthly networking group, it's going to take you 9 months to get there before you can promote. If it's a weekly networking group and you're doing these things every week, then you might be able to get there in 9 weeks. If you're contacting this group every week or every day, you might be able to get there on the 2nd week, right? But you've got to be intentional and genuine. with your actions here. Any questions on the engagement tips? Okay. So I'm going to stop my screen share. Remember, all of that is in the files tab. You guys are free to download it. You're free to print it. You're free to share it with others. All of it has my branding on it, which, you know, is why you can share it with others without a charge. Which reminds me, when you guys create things like this to share, make sure that you're branding it at some point so that if someone's like, I really love this, they know where to get more or where to get more things like that. Right? So it's not necessarily you just putting your branding out there. It's also helping the person who's enjoying it know where to get more from. All right, so we have some comments. I just want to go through those before I take questions. So Phyllis had to jump off. That's understandable. This is pretty cool with the engagement tips. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, David. I don't multitask well. Okay. All right, you guys. I don't know where the other message was. Oh, videos can be posted. Rick can a video be posted? I'm guessing that was in the group. Somebody was asking, John, you were asking, and then Rick answered. Thank you. Thank you guys when you're able to answer when I'm not. That is so helpful. Please feel free to do that. I know that some people kind of see that as stepping on your toes. I don't. I see that as collaboration and awesomeness. So please help if you can. All right, so with that said, who has questions, comments, or concerns? Right.
On the review part of that last section we were going over, I was trying to type that message about not multitasking well. Did you actually, what what do you mean review when you're up to your 9th step on that?
Yeah, so you're giving somebody else a testimony. You're talking about how great somebody else in the group is or the group itself.
Okay.
So that's still getting you exposure, but it's giving you exposure in a very good way because you're giving back to somebody else.
Edifying someone else or
Yes.
constructive criticism.
Yes, but if you're going to do constructive criticism, I would do that in private unless it specifically asks for it in a group. Like in Toastmasters, we publicly do constructive criticism. But otherwise, I'd recommend start it in private unless the group you get the feel for the group. You'll know if that's welcomed or not. Any other questions? After we finish the questions, I'll go into how to set up a group just in case anybody needs to know how to do that. All right, guys, last chance. No questions? All right, so your homework assignment then. Let me give you your homework assignment. I have been losing my papers today. It's very odd when somebody who's super organized is not feeling very organized, right? Let's see, let me minimize these things. I'll respond to those in a moment. So we're in, what is this, nine, I think. You guys, I'm going to take a nap after this, and then I should be back on my A game tomorrow. So the engagement tips are also here. Your homework, here it is. Determine which type of group you want to create. If you need help determining which type of group to create, I know we ran out of time on this call, schedule a Zoom call with me. I know that this week's all taken, but and I am super booked this week, or you could even put a post in the comments here, like make a post in the group, and we can, other people could chime in and help you. So determine which type of group you want to create. That includes if it will be public, private, what you'll offer. Create your Facebook group and then invite people to your group. If you make it a public group, please share it here so that we can also join it if it makes sense for us to. I did want to touch on the naming your group real fast, just super, super duper fast. Don't name your group your business name, because people aren't joining it to be part of your business. It needs to be something that they can resonate with. So I used a lot of examples today about healthy tips. Marie has a group already that has something about Murray's Healthy Eats and Treats or something like that. I don't know the exact name, Marie. I know I'm part of it, but I don't remember the exact name. But it's not her business name. But what happens is it is in relation to what she does. So people at some point are going to ask her for tips, and at some point will convert into sales because she's showing them her expertise in what she does as a health coach, right? And then let's see, I'm seeing if, trying to see if, I know that Tracy has a group that it's not her business name. It's, I think it's called Tracy Style with Tracy, something like that, right? And so again, it still has Tracy in it, but because she's sharing her tips on style. And so it has to have some kind of, it's got to have a name that people will resonate to. You guys probably, most of you probably joined this group because of the name itself, right? You're getting 30 free marketing ideas to keep you through this, whatever's going on. It's got to have, the name has to be something that will get people there, even if it's business related. Do not name it your business name. Questions on the name? Yes. Hey, eat all of that, please. If there's something you don't want, you let me know. Thank you. Trying to be so conservative on food these days. I don't want to have to go to the grocery store every week during this. So I'm like, don't you waste. I showed my mean mom moment. All right. Well, she's only 9. That's as mean as it gets with a 9-year-old. The teenager is a whole different story. All right. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to let you guys go now. Do your homework. I will share my screen again to show you how to do the units. If you've got to go, I understand. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to share my screen now. I was just making sure there's no more extra questions. Oh, for the group. For that.
Hello?
Hello, Debbie. So
Yep.
you were saying Matilda Jane made you name your group that, or
Yes.
your page?
No, they only let us have a group only, and it had to be called Debbie George, Trunk Keeper, Matilda Jane. It had to be a certain format, certain name, or they would shut us down.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately, compliance would not let you name it anything else.
Okay.
Everybody has to do the exact same, and it's for a group. They won't even let us have a page, only a group, and it has to be done just like that.
Okay.
What would be the reasoning for that, I wonder?
It's I don't know. Sometimes direct sales.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, they have certain rules. But
that's why my group's so small. I'm working on getting it more people now, but that's why it's so small, because
yeah. Well,
like you said, they don't want your name.
Well,
they want something more fun.
Debbie, what I would recommend is to create a different group that encompasses you and all that you do with fashion, right? Clothing.
Right, and I could do that. Mm-hmm.
Create a group like that, and then if somebody in that group gets real specifically interested in the Matilda Jane line, then you could direct them to that particular group.
Right. Yeah, I could do that once I can hire somebody to man all this Facebook stuff, because unfortunately I can only keep up with what I have right now. But yes, that's a great idea, and I'm going to put that down because that's a good idea. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's fabulous. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I am going to, oh, I need to go to my other one. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to create a group for those of you who need to learn how to do that, or who just want to see again. So at the top of your Facebook page, no matter which Facebook page you're on, whether you're at home or you're in a group already or you're on a page, no matter where you are, always at the top of your screen, there's this create button. We're going to come down to where it says group, which is the third option. At least at the time of this recording, it is. When you are going to name your group, you're going to give your group a name. Let's see, let me think of one. I need to see if there's one that I actually need to create right now. And that way I'm not just like wasting one and not creating some. Let's see, let's call it, no, let's see, I was gonna call it Barbara's Raving Fans. I think I do want to do that one. Barbara's Raving Fans. And this is going to be a public group, right? Because I have a lot of raving fans already. It'd be really nice for me to be able to keep them up to date on what I'm doing. I may or may not actually keep this as a group, but we'll see. And then you can add people to it. So I'm going to add some people who are in this call just so that it's not like weird. You guys don't have to accept this. I'm just doing it as an example. If you start typing somebody's name, it will pop up and then you click it. Let's see, I have Marie on this call. I click Marie, right? And so there's just a couple examples. It will also give you suggestions based on people who you are most connected with usually, or based on what the name of the group is, if those people have these interests. So you guys see all the people I'm most connected with my brother, my 2 business partners, my husband, and my daughter. So even online, that's who I'm most connected with. The privacy of your group. It can be private or public. Now, the secret option comes later. Like you're able to, yeah, you could add it as hidden. Yeah, so you can make hidden is what makes it secret. Apparently they must have named it hidden now instead of secret. So hidden would make it a secret group, which means you also have to have it private if it's secret. But I'm gonna make mine not hidden, and I'll make it, well, I'm still going to make it private because I don't know if I'm going to keep this. Now the pin to shortcuts right here would make it come over to the left side of your screen when you're on your home screen. If it's a group that you're running and you'll be doing a lot with, you should probably put it there. So for instance, I'll show you after I create that real fast. Okay, so now it's loading that, but while it's loading, I'm going to pull up my homepage of my Facebook. So see my groups right here. These are groups, the group button you can see because there's like the 3 people in this gray thing. That means it's a group. I want these on my shortcuts because I access them a lot. This with the logo means it's my page, right? And you could have more than just this on shortcuts. Like if you hit see more, you could rearrange these. I'm not going to show you how in this video, but if it's a group you plan to interact with a lot, it should be here on your shortcuts so you don't have to search for it all the time. Oh, look at this, Dwight. Did you find value in this group? Boy, oh boy, I sure hope everyone says yes. Okay, so when I come back over here to my group I created, I can upload a picture. You should upload a picture because otherwise this looks odd, right? Upload a picture and then make sure that you go directly to your group settings. And I'm not going to go too much into this because we already talked about the group settings a lot, but that's where you want to start. You want to start with your group settings, do everything you can here. You can even change the color of things. Yeah, you'll notice that mine, I think I made mine orange because that's for Fuse. It kind of gives that orange look. But then after you've been in the settings, then the next step is to go to moderate group. Okay. And in the settings, when you hit describe, that will go into your about page. But so go to settings and then moderate group. And then you'll go through all of these and do what you need to on these. If you're going through creating a group and there's something that comes up and you're like, Barbara, what does this mean? Just text me or call me or email me or post it in the group so that I can answer it for everybody in case you're not the only one with that question. But most of the things in here are pretty self-explanatory. They're very similar to regular Facebook pages or profiles. So now you have your group. You want to invite people to it more than what you've already invited because you don't have to invite everyone from the beginning. But if you want to invite people later, you could click on the more button and you can hit invite members. Okay. Now, if at any time you ever decide that you don't want to be part, like you don't want to have this group anymore, the group is just going to close because you've decided you don't want to run it anymore and nobody else wanted to or whatever, you can archive the group, which would mean that for a temporary time, the group would still exist, but nobody could post to it. And then at some point, Facebook just takes it down completely. Okay, so never hit archive group unless you're planning to get rid of the group. All right, any questions on how to set up a group? That was pretty easy, right? Everybody can do that. Awesome. Let's see. I don't have any questions in the chat, and it doesn't look like anyone else has questions, and we are well past 3. So I guess we can go ahead and get off here. But if you guys think of questions, let me know. If you create a group, let me know. Post it in our page. I will tell you, I will not be able to join everybody's group. I liked everybody's pages and I shared many pages. I will not be able to join everybody's groups because, like I said, only that you will participate in and that you can participate in. Even if it's a great group, if it's not where you're going right now, don't join groups just to be nice because that doesn't help the admin.
I have a question with the units. I didn't see, where was the units? I looked on mine when you were talking and I didn't see where you could add units.
Yep, so let me share my screen again. You have to do that in the group settings first. So units doesn't pop up by default. If you're in settings and you come all the way down to, right here, down to sections. And then there's social learning units right here. You just have to click
Okay.
And Barbara, I'll probably post this. I think you want it as a question. Do you want it underneath the unit for if we have a question regarding our group? Because I'm still having a problem finding, people have told me they've answered the questions, but I'm not seeing that, and I'm not seeing where to approve people for the group.
Okay, so you might have it where it's set up to automatically approve them. So let me show you where that is real fast. That is under moderate group, I think. And if you go to moderate group, no, it's not. It's under the other one. We'll get there. So if you're in group settings, privacy. So what's happening is membership approval right here by default is anyone in the group can approve them, which means if they answer the questions and I'm a group member, like I can't necessarily see their questions because I'm not an admin, but it might say Marie wants to join this group. Well, I'm already a member and I'm like, okay. And I just click, yeah. Well, now those questions are gone. So you want
Okay,
to,
and where are you?
I'm in group settings. So up at the very top, when you click more, go to
Okay.
edit group settings. And then when you're there, you'll scroll all the way down to the spot where it says, where down.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, membership approval. Yep. Make sure it's only admins and moderators.
Okay.
Good question. And then yes, if you have any
Got
other
it.
questions,
Thank you.
you're welcome. If you guys have any other questions, put those inside the unit if you can, because it helps keep everything together for people who might view it later. All right. Thank you guys for being here, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Same time, same place.
All righty. We're looking forward to it. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.